Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
what's the
hey.
deal? Happy Monday. What up,
Happy
Duddy?
Monday.
I,
What's
you too
going
laid
on?
back, Amir. We got to get hyped. It's Monday.
Yes,
We
sir.
made it. God woke us up for another week to get it right. Hey, Prophet P, super producer, drop the hype shit, man. Let's go. Let's get up there. Let's go. Let's play that. Let's go. We got to keep them hyped today, man. You know what I mean? Right out the gate. Drop it.
Great weekend. Oh my God. Go fuck yourself. That was then. This is now, bitch. It's a whole new set of rules. It's Monday. If you ain't waking up with the taste of blood in your fucking mouth like a shark 5 feet from the shore, you fucked up. You understand me? Because Monday is when you go, everybody else is like, still from the weekend, you fucking go eat their fucking lunch. They don't even know. They're not even thinking right. But you're out the box like a fucking fireman. You understand me? It's Monday, cocksuckers, and you better come prepared because they don't fuck around on Monday. Monday, most people come in. I had such a great weekend. Oh
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you hype your show up with the intro from Big Pussy from The Sopranos, one of the most famous characters of The Sopranos, most well loved. Everybody, it was in an uproar when they murdered him on the show, and we just knew they were going to be bringing him back. Like, it was just unexpected, but that is what good writing of these shows do. I know
Yeah.
the people, the actors, they are actors and they're getting paid, and it's a job. And every actor hates when they kill them off of a show because that means the
Yes.
checks. But
No question.
if you're iconic enough and the writers are creative enough, you can still get a check, because I've seen that happen too. I've seen them kill characters and use them in a lot of flashback scenes or whatever, or or prelude stuff. So they keep the checks going. But that dude right there, one of the biggest characters, that started the whole frenzy before Pussy got killed. No pun intended. Before he got killed, the TV shows wasn't killing main characters.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was like the tip of the iceberg of, okay, we can do it and we can still go forward. It was like a taboo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to the Sopranos. We missed the show. We missed, obviously Tony, who passed away later in real life.
Yes.
Great show. Just a great show. Happy Monday, everybody. It's Motivation Monday. You know how we start off. We like to recap the weekend. First of all, if you are a New Yorker, a New York football fan, you are feeling yourself this Monday. Why? Because yesterday was Sunday for football, and all three of our teams walked away with a traumatic, dope, impressive victory.
Yes,
Buffalo
sir.
Bills did what the fuck they were supposed to do. And if you're talking about being a team that we projecting to go to the Super Bowl, they did that yesterday. They came out looking like that Super Bowl bound organization. Shout out to my people up there in Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo area, Niagara Falls. Those are my folks up there. I'm coming up there soon with a comedy takeover. But shout out to Buffalo. Team number 2 with the comeback of the teams. All three teams was kicking ass. But this team, the Giants, came out the second half and just did a hell of a comeback. I think they outscored them something like 17-3 or something to come back and win this game in New York fashion. Shout out to the Big Blue fans out there. Even though I had a couple of dollars against them, I didn't win it. But I broke even because team number 3, that gang green, that money, that moolah, that green, that team that they love to doubt, that talent love to tout, every day on box seats 1 to 2 on the human mill, whether you're on the app, Facebook, or whatever. You see me telling you about my team, the Jets, baby. And guess
Yeah.
what? Guess what? We won like the Bills. We spanked that ass. Wasn't no comeback. We spanked that ass.
Yeah. They
We
They
beat them
destroyed
out there
Miami
with
yesterday.
12 water boys.
Yeah. They destroyed Miami yesterday. It was that was, like I said, it was impressive. All of the teams, New York, football teams were in rare form yesterday. It's great to see New York football back. For those of you who aren't motivated by that, you're a hater. You're a straight hater. New York, we back. We doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's how football is supposed to be played, and that's how we're supposed to get motivated. But beyond that, how was your weekend, King?
Well, this was one of the best weekends, man, I must say. You know what, Amir, you don't realize how much you're running until you stop for a minute. You know what I mean? It becomes, you put your joint in gear, and I had this thing built in me. When you're doing this 30 years, you should be at some point, automatic. You know what I mean? It's like the jump shooters, like Steph Curry. Like some of them shots, it don't even look like you're trying or concentrate. You know what I mean? So it's like that with running. You can run so much that you feel like it's just automatic until you stop, right? So here's the deal. I wasn't even supposed to stop. I was supposed to take a day, which, we had the after work Friday. We hung out all night.
Yes.
We got inebriated. We drunk the shelf up. They had to restock the shelf. That's how busy we got at the two spots we all was hanging at. So Saturday was going to be my get your shelf together day. Detox, hydrate, get yourself together. You could either fly out tonight. I was going to Atlanta for our friend Coco Brown, friend of the show, my comedian girl she celebrated her 50th, which is a big deal. So she gave me mad time when we was in Martha's Vineyard. I put it in the calendar. I said, Coco, I'm going to be there. Don't worry about it. I'm flying out. Boom. The only difference was, do I fly out Saturday to be there for the brunch or in the morning Sunday? And because of my schedule, it ended up being the morning flights. Well, that's what I thought, Amir. Got up, 4 o'clock, put my bag together, put my clothes on, got to the airport for the 6 a.m. flight, oversold. Couldn't get on. So we're going to roll you standby to the 7:30 and blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I really don't care. I'm patient because as long as I get there by 11 a.m., I'm going to make the event. 7:30, sir, we got to roll you over to the 10. I said, whoa. If I can't get on the 7:30, I can't make it. So I had to send her a message, apologize for that, tell her I make it up to her. Brought my ass back home, Amir, and Sunday became a repeat of Saturday, which was edibles after edibles after edibles. Yo, that's a beautiful thing. That was the first time I followed up getting high with getting high.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I want to sympathize with all the crackheads out there, and the people with the Mollies and the Percocets and the what's up, ecstasies and all that. It's something to be said about getting high after getting high. Like I wasn't. It laid me out in such a relaxing zone, bro. Like that's what it was. And I felt grateful because I'm like, you know what? Maybe this. I always think things happen for a reason. So I thought it was God's plan to say, you know what? Don't even do that because that's going to take a toll. And then you only have one day to recoup and start a full work week or, a 3 day in a row, whatever the case. So no, situation. So came home. And when I woke up today or late last night, that kind of sat down in the brain. Like, you know what? You were supposed to sit still for a minute. You know what I mean? So I had a wonderful weekend. After work, Friday was dope. I'm preparing for the next one. If you missed it, November 4th is the next one. It's gonna be dope. I'm already putting together the plan now, calling everybody. That's what I've been doing today. But it was dope, man. And Saturday and Sunday with that rest and that relaxation, I couldn't beat it, bro. Couldn't beat it.
Nice.
How about you?
Nice, man. Listen, well, Friday night, like you said, we tore the Coliseum down. Just had an absolute blast. The after party was the after party. That was crazy. We survived that. Get up Saturday and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it a little bit because what you don't know is I was Tito'sing it up because they was hiding the Casamigos because of you. So since they said they didn't have it, I was doing Tito's. So then when you hit me with the Patron, I was like, all right, well, Patron and Tito's not too bad. And then we got to the Casamigos later. So I was like, we're doing too much, but it's all good. Saturday, I woke up just a little, overdrawn. I was like, all right, let me just rehydrate. Sitting in the crib, doing my normal Saturday cleaning, doing I do on Saturday, and somebody texts me and say, hey, why don't you get out and enjoy yourself? Take yourself to a movie, do something for you. And I have to say, I never really thought about that. I'm always doing stuff for everybody else. I'll be to this, or I'll come to that, or whatever. So just so happens in my neighborhood, some cats that I know, they own a restaurant. I took a walk over there, late evening or early evening, and I said, you know what? Take a walk over there, grab some food, and I was just gonna come back in the house, watch some movies, and just chill. But the spot was empty, so I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit down, relax, have a good time by myself. Man, sat down, and that's probably one of the best things that I've done in God knows how long, because it was just me hanging out with me. And the beauty of it was twofold. It was the, spending time with myself, but even bigger and better than that was the opportunity to just woosah and be by myself, be with my thoughts, enjoy a meal without rushing. Didn't have to break out in conversation or anything like that. Just really got a chance to immerse myself and hanging out with me. And the funny thing about it, to the point of Motivational Monday, what it led me to think about is how dope it is sometimes you got to put in that time and energy with yourself. Like you got to put that time and energy in. Whatever that is, whatever it looks like for you, you got to give yourself that. But here's the killer. Sunday I get up, and it just so happens that there was a really great block party going on in my neighborhood. And they had a Stretch Armstrong on the ones and twos in the streets.
Get out of here.
So somebody sent me the flyer. Yeah, they sent me the flyer. It's walking distance to me. So I walked up to the thing, and it was like maybe a 4 or 5, maybe 6 blocks block party. But they had vendors out there and the whole line. But the creme de la creme was Stretch Armstrong on the ones and twos. Your man put on a show. Like when I tell you he absolutely destroyed the spot, destroyed it, T. I mean, had everybody out there rocking. Every nationality you could think of, old people, young people, taking pictures, everybody danced with one another. It was absolutely amazing. Finished it up with another dinner at my boy's spot again, because again, like I said, I was in walking distance. I walked back to his spot again, had dinner again for the second night, and just, absolutely phenomenal weekend. Got up this morning. It's back to the hustle and grind, but it was such a good weekend that I was like, yes, let's go. Let's get it popping. So this is Motivational Monday. Y'all find those little nuggets and those little things that just allow you to get through your weekend. If you don't have to work the weekends, get to Monday and just be like, I had such a great weekend. It's like an extent. I don't even think it is Monday. I'm just continuing with the flow. So you let that flow go. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing, man. Like, is it me, just to go off of what you just said? I've been feeling this way for, I don't know if it's the pandemic or right before the pandemic, but it's very recent like that. Like, is it me, or do it seem like there's a resurgence of the love for the craft of DJ?
Yeah.
This is what I'm seeing happen, right? We went from the original love for the craft of DJing. Then we got so used to it, and so blah blah blah, that the celebrity DJing opened up, right? So now that's how the Biz Markies and all those guys just came back into it and was able to, and they love music, so and I'm not knocking it, but there was a little time for that. You know what I mean? Idris was DJing, MC Light got back in the day, like it was just everything. You seen what D Nice did with it, Shaq. Like, when you go online, like I was doing my thing during the pandemic. Dion Cole, Mike Epps. I mean, people just, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like just out there, the essence of, the music lovers who had the skills and the capabilities was doing it. And if you was a music lover, you had a different appreciation, a re-emergence of it, if you will. So now, when stuff like that, when you give a report on, oh yeah, I went to the park, they had this, that, and the third over there, you are seeing, like you just said, he put on a show. We are seeing cats put on a show now. Like, you're not just showing up and spinning and you dance, you don't, looking at their watch, pack their shit, get out of there. Dudes are coming correct. I remember doing a show, and this is when we were outdoor 2 Labor Days ago, the year of the pandemic. We first let us back out, where the Phillies played at Citizens Bank Park in Philly. Live Nation did what we do, the little drive-in thing, but they were like, we're going to do it on a big scale. We're going to go do the, where they play at Citizen Bank Park. We got you guys, you Capone and Mike Blackson and Ray and all these comics, and your DJ ain't going to be a regular DJ, going to be Jazzy Jeff. And Jazzy Jeff put his foot in it. And it was, like I said, it was that whole different thing of, I was like, yo, it's a emergence. Like, people are re-emerging, and we have a different love. I guess the pandemic did do that in essence, because if you look at it, I guess it was a wake-up call for a lot of shit that we was taking for granted.
I agree. It's so funny, T, that you mentioned it, that, in that regard. I think what it did, even for us from a musical standpoint, I think so many of us had forgotten music and what we knew it to be, meaning all of the songs that you grew up on, all the songs that your parents, grew up on, and, all of these different genres and decades. And what happened was, when you started sitting home, and like you said, we weren't able to get outside, and you and I put our heads together and we came up with the, when we were White Wednesdays, and I'm sure there were other shows, similar to that. What ended up happening is you had all of these people who are now having the opportunity to listen to these songs again and go, oh my God, I forgot about that. That was a dope song. That was great. The melody on that one was, and for me, like I said, as I've gotten older, what I find myself doing is finding that I'm listening to not only the songs, but the actual instrumentation. So I hear cymbals and horns in places. I'm like, oh snap, that's a whole horn section right there. That's fire. And I think that, to your point, that's really what's happening now, is we're starting to appreciate our music with a different listening ear now that we're older, because you're looking at it from also a different perspective. A lot of the songs that we came up singing, we thought to ourselves, like, you singing them along, and I don't know about your mom, but my mom, don't sing that. And as a kid, it's the popular song. So you just like, I don't get why you won't let me sing it. But now you listen to the words and you're like, oh my God, that's disrespectful. Wait, I've been singing this all this long and been saying the wrong thing. Now you get a chance and an opportunity to really, like you said, immerse yourself in all of that and really drink it in. And I think that that's dope. Plus, like you said, with the DJs, I feel like we've, thankfully given them the power to control the room again, because they had lost that. Everybody's a DJ, thankfully or unthankfully, because of, you could do stuff on your phones and you could do stuff on your laptop. Everybody swears that they're a DJ. And that's not necessarily the case. You need transitions. You need to know how to do, specific things from a DJ standpoint if you're going to really classify yourself as such. And I think what happened is we got all of these really great DJs who are now gone back to the essence, and they're playing songs like George Benson's "Breezin'" and all of these songs along those lines, the DeBarges and the Lionel Richies and and all that stuff. Like I said, that we forgot, Easy Like Sunday Morning, where you could throw that in a set in the middle of a street jam and put a hip hop beat behind it and have everybody like, easy like, you're like, oh, wait a minute, okay. So I think that it's dope. And I don't know, I know you DJ, and my understanding is this latest, I don't know what the piece is called, but it allows you to drop out the music. It allows you to, only have the certain tracks and this and that and the third. So it's allowing y'all to be way more creative than you've been able to be in the past. So blends and new mixes of songs that you've grown to know and love is, taking off. So it's so dope. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I mean, on the music tip, technology has come 100-fold forward. So if you are a DJ, or even, you don't even gotta be a DJ. If you really love music, I know people that they don't go out and DJ, but they have equipment where they can hear their thing and play their thing a certain way like they want to. So if you have that accessibility, you have fun, because I have fun with music. I don't have to be out DJing. I be here in my crib cleaning, and I'll put some on. And dude, I could play one song. I did it like last week. I was cleaning something, and I was organizing. And this one song, I think I played that shit 50 times. I just kept going back, right from the beginning, because I was just in that vibe, and I didn't want to let the song and sound go. So that's going to segue into my first point of motivation. First point, leave that puppy alone. Sit down somewhere. It's okay, puppy. I got you. I tell you, they're crazy in here. The puppy barely a month, and she's trying to play with them, but they play too rough. Yeah. So the segue is this, man. And like I said, I played that song. I might be exaggerating, maybe 40 times, but close. But my point is this: when you find something that works, and that's where I'm going with this on Motivation Monday. A lot of time we find that thing, that formula or that recipe that works. And the problem with us is we do it, and instead of keeping a tab on it and figuring out the formula and doing it again because it worked and it put us in a great place, we mess around and we let it go. And then we're starting from scratch. Perfect example. In the marketing side and promotion side of what I do, when I'm throwing shows, and I know I got a regular room, right? Let's say like the Stress Factor. I know I'm there every month. Tampa, Florida, my brother's spot. I know I'm there every month. So these things that I know I'm a part of continuously, whether it's weekly or monthly, basically I know ahead of time I'm here again, right? So what I do is I put together a formula, and it's really like repeat and play. It's like all I'm doing is plugging the holes up. Okay, I'm here next week, but it's a whole different lineup of comedians. So I know I take the same formula, whether it's a flyer or an ad or something, and I take out the ones who just did it, put in the new ones, and let it roll, continuously, so that that fan base, that crew of people who come to that place, come and they know what to expect, and they already got it in advance. Same thing if it's monthly, like at the Stress Factory, you plug and play. It works. So only thing you do with shit that work is you tweak it if you can see a corner where you can get it better. You don't tweak it to change the whole operation and keep trying new things time and time again, week in, week out, day in, day out. You don't do it because now you're making your own job hard. Look at this guy. Girl, excuse me. Look at this girl. All that noise from this little thing right here. Look at this little thing. What's all that noise? She crazy. I think
But you're
I'm gonna
absolutely
call her
right,
Nyla or
T.
something. What do you think about Nyla or Nina
Okay.
Simone or something?
Yeah. Nah, that's dope. You're absolutely right. I think that we unfortunately, like you said, we don't realize that usually you have a formula that works, and
Yeah.
it is just a matter of if it already works, you might have to tweak it here and there, just from the standpoint of, like you said, keeping the continuous flow. But we scrap stuff sometimes too soon. We don't see if it's actually gotten traction and is a solid game plan for us. I guess because you and I are such sports guys, and it's no disrespect to the ladies who watch the show, and I'm sure some of them are sports women, but that's what plays in my head when I'm trying to do specific things. I'm thinking about, okay, let's see if we get some traction, and from the traction, what tweaks do we need to do? As I always say, especially here, and just saying life, you got to make the adjustments to win your championship. You can't
Right.
keep looking over at somebody else's championship and thinking that that's supposed to be yours. That's theirs. You got to let that be what it's supposed to be over there. Meanwhile, keep your eye on the prize for what it is and what goals you have set for yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's those goals and it's doing those kinds of things that's going to win you the championship that you're looking for. Everybody's championship looks different. Now, that's obviously unless you play a team sport where the common goal for everybody is the same. But if we're talking about regular everyday life, all of our goals are a little bit different. And it doesn't mean it's a good thing or a bad thing. It just means that's the way that the process is working. So when you look at the process and you understand it, just keep your eye on the prize. We incrementally really don't do a good enough job of understanding that, incrementally speaking, that is how you eventually get to your goal. It's not big leaps and bounds as most of us think, because so used to seeing the finished product, such and such won. But you don't know that 10 years prior to that, we're not so much that they was losing, but they were bettering themselves. They were doing the hard work that put them in a position. I just had this conversation maybe like 3 times this weekend, which was funny, of telling people that you have to really understand that versions of yourself, especially in the past, were needed at that time.
Right.
That's why when you move to where you are now, it doesn't fit anymore because you're in a different space. You're a different person. And technically, the things going on around you, hopefully, should be and are different. So that means you have to come up with a new version of you to deal with this version of your reality. That version needed that guy. This version needs this guy or this gal. So I hope that you guys are really taking and drinking that in and stop beating yourself up going, well, I'm not perfect. You're not supposed to be that person anymore because
Not
that
right
person
now.
needs to be
Right.
for
But
that
you know what it is?
situation.
You know what it is too, Amir, is like people need to look at it like this. I always like to, I have a phrase, tell it to them like they do. The way we talking now may go over some people's heads, so we got to break it down. Consider it, what he's saying, look at it like Batman's utility belt. Batman's utility belt is like a MacGyver belt. It got a bunch of shit in it for different situations and scenarios. You're not gonna pull out the same thing every scenario. If I could just reach my utility belt, then he pull out a hook to climb over the roof, come down the roof. He might have in there some fucking spray to knock people out to get them unconscious. He might have in there a fucking antidote for some shit to bring somebody back. But the bottom line is, like you just said, the version of yourself changes with the circumstances. But the plan, if it's working, can remain the same. If it's a working plan, don't you know when people change plans? When the shit ain't working. Hey man, we tried this, man, it just ain't working. And it could be a number of things. Like perfect example is in promotion. I'll go back to promotion again, for example. In the certain times of the year, I do it different because I've learned over the years, Certain time of the year, you have to adjust. You have to adjust for summertime because that's when you're competing now. You're already competing all year round. But in my line of work, I'm competing with the summer, with the organic weather, traveling, vacation time. You're competing with these things. Not that people want to compete with you. This is just natural in our nation. You know what I mean? So the way I'm going to come at it, September, October, November, going to be way different than June, July, and August. Because why do you think we started to make trips to go to getaways? Because we knew people in the summer was going to go somewhere. So, okay, let's tweak it so that we're the guys and girls that they want to be with and go vacation with us. We going to Aruba. We going to St. Croix. We going to Jamaica. We going to Barbados. We going to, you know what I mean? So that was a tweak, and when you first won with it 20 years ago, you're like, oh, it worked, blah, blah, blah. But you couldn't stop there. You had to tweak it again and say, okay, well, we did Jamaica last year. We can't keep doing Jamaica. Okay, well, check Aruba, check Bermuda, check blah, blah, blah. So all of these things are tweaks and ingredients in the overall recipe because it didn't fail. So you're using the same recipe. You're just tweaking a little bit. If you're cooking, speaking of recipes, ladies, you're cooking for family during those holidays coming up. You got to cook for the family in the holidays. The way you cook for you might not cook like that for grandpa and grandma coming over, auntie who got diabetes or dealing with sugar or blood pressure, where I can't make it as spicy as I used to make it. So I'm going to make it like this, or I'm going to make two versions. And I got the spicy version, the regular version. How many people in our families are now all of a sudden want to be vegans and I'm pescatarian, I'm this, that, whatever. Okay, cool. So now I can't throw bacon in every fucking thing. Now, I got to have an alternative. One thing I can say about my family and friends, once I stopped eating meat and shit, motherfuckers was cool. Okay, well, we know we got to get some fish for tea. And guess what? It went from getting fish for tea to every fucking body and their mother wanted fish. You ever notice that shit? Like, nobody had a preference, but now it's fish for tea. So everybody, I look over there, it'd be like 10, 12 pieces. I'm like, oh, I'm having filled. I'm gonna eat 3 now, 3 part 2, take a couple home. I look over there, fish gone. Fucking fish at. Oh, she was great. Good. They didn't make it for you. Like, you got ribs and all type of shit. I got the limited menu, and you fucking my menu up.
Yo, what's so funny about that, to your point? I think that also is a microcosm of, nobody, like you said, doing certain things until they see you do it. Like you said, I'm gonna continue to consume this. Oh, you don't mess with that no more? Nah. What happened? I really just don't mess with it. I mean, whatever. I'm a big, proponent. I just tell people, listen to your body. It hasn't let you down yet. Anytime you experience some pain in any way, shape, or form, trust me, that's your body trying to tell you something is not right. I don't care what it is. But even to that, like you said, with food, especially, now we're coming up on the holidays, which is great. It's funny because Thanksgiving doesn't, for me, have the same, oomph it had, when I was younger. I couldn't wait for the turkey and the mac and cheese and the yams and this and that and the third. Now I'm in there cherry picking like a champ. Can I get the light side of the menu here? I mess around, eat the smallest things now and be sleepy. I'm like, oh, just had a burger and fries. I'm sleepy now. It's great. So you just realize that, your body, I think, also goes through changes and transformations. And this is what again, this is what I mean about paying attention to everything that's going on around you, because even your body goes through transformations. A lot of us can't eat the way that we used to seemingly eat when we were younger. You used to sit down at that table, you destroy everything. Now you go over there, you be like, look, I'm gonna have a light meal and I'm gonna take a plate to go. So that later on at 3 a.m, when I get hungry again, I'm gonna have something to chow down on. So it's a lot of that, kind of energy as well. But you're absolutely right. We have to, find what our game plan is, stick to said game plan until you literally reach whatever goal it is you're trying to reach. And that's, the whole purpose of, what we were trying to say with our first point of the evening. King, let's get to point number 2. Keep this train rolling.
Okay, so here we go. Point number 2 is this, brother. I want people to learn to separate. This is a great motivational tool because I get not upset. I get a little disappointed when we get one dimensional. You know, you always hear me say we're more than one person, blah blah blah, and I really believe that, and stand my rocks on that. You know what I mean? And I bring that up because there's a big confusion and misconception amongst our people in our community when it comes to prayer. And how I notice to be is people associate it one dimensionally. Prayer must mean I'm religious. Uh, I'm Baptist. I'm Christian. It's not what that means. Um, People sit around and meditate all day. You know what meditating is? Meditating is a form of prayer. You're praying for peace. Like you're trying to summons peace even. You know, you're trying to push it upon you with your own will and spirituality. Everybody that prays doesn't mean they're religious. You know, I pray in an abundance. I probably pray on average, I don't know, 3 times a day, 4 from working, whatever. And I'm far from religious. Am I spiritual? I would say yes, because I'm always talking to a higher power. I'm always confiding in the higher power, and when bad things come in other people's lives that are close to me, I'm counting on the higher power to move some things in the universe energetically wise to see things the right way, the way I see them. Hopefully, that could be the difference in life and death. It could be sickness and health. It could be broke and financially stable. It could be a lot of things. It could be educated or not. Whatever that is, where I put it out there in the universe and that energy, it's a form of prayer. And I'm non-denominational. I don't cling to anything. Do I believe in my heart and soul of souls that there's a higher force out there? Absolutely. That's just common sense to me. Like, you know, we didn't just get right here. The man got on a nice suit and a bow tie. You know, we didn't just come from Neanderthals to have making bow ties. There was a gradual process that, you know, but at the very beginning, something had to bring us forth. Hence, what I believe there's a higher power. Now, whether that is, people argue all day, oh, the aliens put it here. Oh, no, it's Jesus. He had a robe on, it's a carpenter. No, it was this one and whatever. All that story stuff, I leave to all the different denominations, you know what I mean, and what they believe in, may or may not believe in. But I know I believe in a higher source. I believe in energies in the universe constantly. So I do stay in touch with that, and I do talk to that, and I do ask for things from that, and I do, for lack of a better word, pray on that. I think we need to. This is another component and compartment in our lives that we need to get a grip on, of knowing what's what and when we're doing what. You got a guy like Russell Simmons that technically that nigga don't even live in the States no more. That nigga somewhere abroad. Every now and then you'll catch him go live on Instagram in an Indian squat position on a mat with wild bamboo around him, talking mad, soft and Gandhi-ish. And, peace. Russell Simmons is Def Jam Yoda. This nigga's he talk like Yoda now. Funny.
You know, you're absolutely right. It's funny, man. You know, to your point, that is again another form of motivation. When you when you pray, what you're doing is talking to your inner you. And I know that, you know, people are gonna be like, "What do you mean you're talking to your inner you?" Your mind and your spirit are the, you know, two of the most powerful forces in the entire world, especially your mind. And what happens is when you pray, that is a conversation that you're having internally with yourself. So as you ask for things, whatever those things may be, whether it's like you said, resilience and peace and things for family and friends, or any other things that may come to your mind as far as, you know, how you know, present certain things, that's an internal conversation that allows you to really talk to yourself and put yourself in a position to then answer those questions. Because what happens is, as you tune into the universe, meaning through your prayers, you allow the thoughts that you have to go into the universe and align. Because again, everything is a vibration. That's why I always say it's like, you know, we almost are like radio stations. So now you're aligning with the universe and what things are in the universe that will allow you to now be special and be great and all these things. So when you put yourself in that space and when you put yourself in that fine tuning, then you start to see, like you said, these things starting to come to fruition in your life. Now, again, whatever denomination you are is whatever denomination you are. So that isn't, what we're talking about. But we're talking about, excuse me, taking that time and taking that moment to, like I said, have that conversation with yourself, because the number one star player, I think Tal and I touched upon this maybe 2 weeks ago. The number one thing that you got to be in tune with is the number one star player, which is yourself. So if you're not having that great dialogue with yourself, meaning, hey, what things are we looking for? What are we looking to get done? How are we looking to get it done? Who and what is supposed to be aligned with me so I can get it done? And really that, again, like you said, starts with prayer. The beauty of prayer and the beauty of having that dialogue and having that conversation is the more you fine tune it, the more that energy goes into the universe. And I promise you, the things start, showing up in your reality. And I know a lot of you sit around sometimes, you're like, wait a minute, how did this happen? You asked for it. I always tell y'all, you're in constant conversation with the universe and constant conversation with yourself. So the more you ask for things, the more you have to be prepared to receive them. And especially when you're vibrating on the highest level possible, which is love. Now, I know all of y'all are going to think, you think I mean love in the sense of, male and female relationships and things like that. No, I'm just talking about vibrating on love in the sense of understanding that in your day to day, on a normal basis, being in tune with seeing and wanting the best for not only yourself, but for the people and things around you. That's a vibration that is so powerful and has so much energy to it. And the reason why so many of you are finding yourselves like, oh my God, all these great things are happening, because you're in tune with that vibration. So the universe is sending things that align with that match it. And the more you practice it, the more you get in tune with it. Like you said, guys like Russell Simmons, and there are, other people who we've seen over the years who have moved into that space. Money is great. Homes and cars and all that stuff is great. And materialistic things are great. They all are wonderful. They help you in a lot of other aspects of your life. But there's nothing more wonderful than being in tune with yourself and being at peace. And I think as, one of the microcosms that we had of what happened with this situation of us all being home, we started finding out that we needed to find that peace for ourselves. And a lot of us are now starting to really move in that vein and do the things necessary to find that peace. And I promise you, as more y'all make that alignment, you're going to find that life is a cakewalk and not so, busy and convoluted like we've been led, to believe it's supposed to be.
If they get lucky enough to find that. Before I get off the prayer mode, you heard me say it before, I say it again, I'm praying for Kanye West. There's a lot going on with him right now. It's just peaking. As of recent, what's today? Monday. Yesterday, they locked up his Twitter account over an anti-Semitic tweet posted on the account on Saturday. It says, now they removed it. It says the tweet says something to the effect of, he said he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, and also that you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone whoever opposes your agenda without specifying what group he was addressing. According to the Internet's archive, they got these new guidelines, anti-Semitic group or whatever. So if it's doing anything along the lines of talking about power, disloyalty, greed, deceit, blood, denial, anti-Zionism, all of these anti-Semitic tropes is where they break down into it's called the hashtag anti-Semitism uncovered guide. They got so much shit going on. So they're coming after Ye. Ye said, I'm going DEFCON 3 on these dudes. Now, careful, Ye. This may be, what did I say? I said this a little while ago about how, easily people, I don't care how much you got, power or money, they have a way. It's their system. It's have a way. If you don't care nothing about that, cool. But if you care about that, that's what I always say to people. If you don't care nothing about that, disregard everything I'm about to say. But if you care about that, careful the eggs and glass you crush and step on barefoot. You know what I mean? So I close out the prayer thing. Understand it doesn't mean you're religious. You could just be a spiritual person, whatever the case may be. Not that there's nothing wrong. To each his own. But let's know and separate. We're not one thing. And that don't mean we're religious because we come before a higher power, recognize a higher power, or even put the energy out in the universe praying to a higher power. It is what it is. Right about now, it's time for the jewel of the day. We're about 10 minutes late on that, but so what? It's Amir Silly with the jewel of the day. Prophet Pete, bring him in the right way. Let's do that. Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There
As
you
we
go.
just shared with you the importance of, what prayer is and what it does, and as something that you guys have heard me say numerous times, especially here on this platform, it's nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. And I'll just give y'all a few examples of what I mean by that. Since the pandemic, and T in particular, especially with him allowing me to partner with him on several shows, I've had the opportunity to not so much reinvent myself, just kind of let people know that I'm still around. And from it, a beautiful friendship has blossomed with Lord Finesse. Other friendships have blossomed, as well because of, my affiliation with Talent and, all the beautiful people who he's, a part of, Rodney Perry, and the list goes on and on. But I bring that to the table because I want you guys to start understanding that relationships are like money. And the more you cultivate them, the more you work on them, the more you do the things you need to do in order to make them be viable, in order to do the things to make them be tangible. The payoff is in the ability to now say that these people are co-workers, friends, associates, whatever terminology you want to use. But the beauty of it is these are people that if you cultivate the relationships deeply and far enough, they become family. Our producer, Prophet P, y'all, see we come on this show every week. He's the man behind the scenes who, helps the show run. He comes up with the beautiful start to our show and the promos and the things in between. Family. That's important. Once you do this long enough, once you put, forth the effort, once you, put in the time and the energy, hopefully it cultivates itself into what is eventually becomes family. Because at the end of the day, that's all we got. We got all these other things that people think are important, like I said, money and cars and all that stuff. But it's the beautiful people who, on a daily basis, you can enrich their lives and they can enrich your lives. So take that with you. Use that in your everyday life. I promise you, this journey is only just beginning for you.
Julie. Hey, brother, thank you for that. That was wonderful. You know what I mean? Food for thought. We call it the jewel of the day because my man has earned the nickname the jeweler. Because you could be talking about cereal. Amir gonna drop a jewel in there. He's gonna tell you about the grams. He's gonna tell you about the sodium. But by the time he finishes, he probably won't be eating the same cereal. Brother deep like that. So here's the thing: what's going on in the streets, man? I don't know if you've been paying attention. So somebody's at it again. In the comedy world. They caught a heckler throwing a full can of beer, trying to hit a young lady performing at a comedy club. Now, my brother, he sends the thing to me. My brother sent the joint to me. He's like, "Oh, they're getting out of hand." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Bro, not really." Like, what you don't know that I know is that these far and few between things and incidents always been going on. I'm not saying it's a whole plethora of bottles being thrown and people run up on stage, but it's been happening since being in it. And I got 31 going on 32. So far as I know, there's been incidents here and there, because believe it or not, some people come out again. Before these shows right here, where we talk a lot of people off the cliff, people are high strung.
Yeah.
And they think they want something sometimes where they don't. Come on, you wouldn't be human if it never happened to you. How many people ever went somewhere, thought this is what you wanted to do, and halfway through it, you realize, you know what? I don't want to be in here. I thought it was something else. You know what I mean? Like, I remember going to see a movie. I had no clue it was a musical. I ain't going to sit in a fucking musical in the theater today, right? So, like, after the second song, I'm like, it's a fucking musical? So got the fuck out of there. But it can happen in comedy too. Somebody could come out thinking they're going out to cheer themselves up, and it can go wrong for several reasons. So this young lady, in her instance, it went wrong by bringing up, getting into a conversation about politics. You know, you had another young lady in the audience, obviously a Trump supporter, and started kind of like coming at her like, "Oh, you're a Democrat. You voted for Biden, didn't you?" And she's like, "What? I didn't say whatever. You ain't got to say what. I can tell what you're talking about. You voted for Biden." She's like, "Well, I could tell that you voted for Trump because you won't shut the fuck up." You know what I mean? To that effect. And the lady, they're going back and forth. So then she gets off of that. I go, okay, let me go finish the bit I was doing. And when she said that and turned her head, can came flying, just missed her, hit the wall, beer went splattering. To the girl's credit, the female comedian, she was smart enough to like, okay, what can I do to keep the crowd instead of this thing getting awkward and ooh and all that? So she picks the can up, which still has some beer in it, and chugged the shit down. And the place went crazy. You know, and God knows they had to throw the lady out, whatever. But point being is this. People, let's be more in tune, because sometimes I think we know what we like and don't like, and we still go against the grain. I tell people all the time, you know where this happens at? How many times you driving or go in a certain direction and your first instinct go, yo, I should do that. And you go, nah, let's go do this. And then boom, you hit traffic and now you're stuck an hour, right? And what the first thing you say is, I should have listened to my first fucking, intuition that told me to go boom, boom. Same thing with going out and putting yourself in harm's way, because that's what this can escalate to. No, you know what you like. No one knows you better than you. I keep telling people this. You are your number one own representative from A to fucking Z. You know what you can handle. You know what's too much for you. You know the mood you're in. You know the kind of day you had. You know what you prefer and don't prefer. And I think a lot of that is sometimes it be group peer pressure. Like you just want to get out and do something, and the group is going here tonight. And you fuck it, I throw my shoes on, I'm going. But if you don't like that, just because they're going, how about you sit this one out? Because God forbid somebody say something to you, you're already in a certain mind space and attitude that this drags you all the way to the other side. You know what I mean? Now you're caught up in the situation. Like ain't no telling, all you get is the clip that they have, right? Ain't no telling how that night ended. They could have whooped this bitch ass in the parking lot. She could have went to jail. Or any type of thing could have happened where it further escalated. I mean, they gave us the highlight reel of, oh, look what happened in the comedy club, boom, boom, boom. And I told my brother, I said, bro, I seen that happen to Bill Bellamy at not Bill Bellamy, Ed Lover. It was Bill Bellamy's birthday. Ed was hosting. And I'd seen somebody try to hit my cousin but it was a bottle. And it broke on the wall. It could have been real dangerous. I seen somebody in the West Coast at a comedy club watch too much TV. They're going to get in a fight with the comic. They figure they're going to take the bottle, break it on the table, and have the little juking part, like in the movies. Motherfucker did this shit, broke it on the table. Amir cut the whole front row up. Every fucking body in the front had to get fucking bandages wrapped up and go to the fucking EMS because this person wasn't equipped for where the show was going to go or what the person was going to say. I tell people all the time, comedy and a real comedy show, not the ones where we're kind of quiet down or regulated, so to speak. Sometimes we do like clean shows where our humor's regulated. So we go in our arsenal and we pick out stuff we're going to talk about that's doesn't need profanity or that's mostly non-offensive and generally broad stroked and swiped over, and that we know chances are we're not going to offend you. You came into a clean show, we're giving you a clean show, nobody got harmed. But when you go to comedy in its real form and fashion, and its real environment, it's freedom of speech at its hugest position. You know what I mean? This person, we don't know what this person's going to talk about today. Yesterday, they might have talked about politics, but today they're going to talk about how they're tired of, taking care of the handicapped kids at the school. Or it could be anything. And, no spite on the handicaps, but it could be anything is my point. And you may be a person, an advocate for handicapped people, and this rubs you super wrong. You know, you seen just last week the video that went viral where the Karen came out bothering the black delivery lady, worked for Amazon or some shit like that, and bothering her because she parked the delivery truck real quick in the handicap. This is none of your concern, lady. You out walking your dog. The lady is delivering packages. She's gonna be there all of 2 minutes and a half, if that. And that's what she's telling you. But you end up getting pushed to the ground because this thing rubbed you the wrong way. Now we don't even know if this thing rubbed you the wrong way because of the handicap part, or was it because it was a black delivery person part? Anybody that watched football Sunday, funniest thing in the world. I was just watching a couple of commentators. The black guys going off about there was a bad call. If you watched the Tampa Bay game where Brady got sacked, and they called it a personal foul, and it was a regular sack, regular traditional sack, and they called it that. And the people, everybody went crazy, like, what the fuck is going on with the league? So the guy, he called it out. He said, well, what it's saying to me is brothers can't tackle Tom Brady. Like, you can't be a brother and go in there and tackle their golden child and blah, blah, blah. And dude's like, nah. He's like, no, that's true. He said, because that's a regular sack. And the more you look at it, the more you realize it's regular. The dude don't even land on his own. He land mostly on the sacking dude's body. He brings him down on his body like a swing around. The head never hit the floor. Body barely touched the floor. Arm, like everything's safe about it. In other words, nothing bad happened, but yet you penalize the guy. And it basically kind of costs Atlanta the game. You know what I mean? So we got to be more aware of what we can tolerate, what our limits are, and all that type of stuff, because everything around you is going to work against you if you're not. That's just a fact.
You know, it's so funny, man. It's you know, I've been saying that for years about Tom Brady, but that's a whole nother argument for a whole nother show. And it's funny because there was another football play yesterday where somebody got taken down in the end zone that, to me, it should have been a personal foul, because the way the dude came down and slammed him on his head, I was like, oh my God, he almost killed the dude. But again, another show. But to your point, you're absolutely right. We have got to, one of the other unfortunate microcosms to me of what we went through in the pandemic was people became hypersensitive about everything. Like we are hypersensitive about every single solitary thing. I don't care what it is. Like you said, if it's something that resonates with you, then it's like, wait a minute, you can't talk about that and this and that and the third. And I'm like, come on, y'all, it can't be that serious. First of all, you need to be able to poke fun at yourself, because if you can and if you don't, then I don't know what world you're living in. There's no way that you should be able to take yourself that serious. Every now and again, you got to smile about something that you think, say, feel, or whatever the case may be. Because if you don't, I promise you, you will drive yourself crazy trying to live this perfection life that you think, is necessary. There's nothing in this world that's perfect. There's constant adjustments and readjustments being made about everything that's going on around you. Believe you me when I tell you that. I don't care what it is. But I think that, we have to your point, really start to, take each situation case by case. And it's funny. I know you saw the vibe of the day today, and it said, I think it was yesterday. It said, being able to be peaceful in chaos is a superpower of sorts. And so many of us don't understand how important that really is. You cannot allow somebody, something, or whatever to really adjust your peace, because to the point that Talent started with, this is about you. If you start giving people, places, and things that kind of power, then you're always going to be slave to that in one way, shape, or form or another. So it behooves each and every one of us, as you find yourself going to whatever situations you're in, is this something that I really need to address, or is this something that I could let go, deal with later, come back to once my emotions aren't involved? Because emotionally speaking, some of us and our emotional IQ is in the trash, and you got to work on that. That's a skill set that we all could do better at. I know so many people get upset over the slightest things. I'll be like, that really wasn't that serious. I don't even know why you lent energy to it. You should have just let that go and kept it pushing. Now the fact that you lent energy to it, it grew legs, and now it's growing even more so because of whatever. So we got to learn how to really be able to disseminate situations that require us to give our time, our energy, and our efforts to, and things that you need to just let fly and or pass you by and maybe revisit later, like I said, when you may or may not be as emotional about that specific thing. So
Yeah,
another,
absolutely.
thing, you know.
And last but not least, brother, I want to touch on. So I got a phone call and I had to give advice this week. There was a long text. First of all, like women text long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like all dudes be like, yo, it's crazy. Hit me. Like, cool. Women be like, and another thing, and if the person in 20 years and went to school and grew up and flowers in the attic and fried green tomatoes and Thelma and Louise and girlfriend, I'm like, fuck. So the text basically, to summarize, was asking, actually it was a DM, it was asking, what do I think about loyalty? How was it put? They were having a dilemma of feeling obligated to certain people in their life, family and friends, that they didn't really care for. You know, they didn't hate them, but they were like, when I got clarity, it was like, I don't like hanging with this person, or I don't like the way I feel after hanging with this person, or I'm put in certain whatever the case may be. But because I've known this person so long, since we were kids, I feel obligated. I feel like loyalty, like the time, like grandfathers me into some sort of loyalty thing where I can't say no, or then I'm acting funny, or I'm the wrong one, or whatever the case may be. And my advice to that was, I said no. I said, you know why that's not true or applies in real life? Almost all of us have people in our lives. You know how they say you can't pick your family. You're born into the bloodline. However, all of us, almost all of us have really, really close friends to us that are actually closer than blood relatives. You know what I mean? Like, Amir, we're close. Like, there's a few blood relatives you closer to me than I allow them to be. And it's just because we move different. Like, me and those family members, we probably don't have as much in common, or we probably just move different. The way I think and move, they don't. You know what I mean? I remember telling somebody in a relationship talk, I was like, you got to understand something. I'm all about organic movement. I don't bullshit there. It ain't about going through the motions because this is what society says we're supposed to do at this said time and blah, blah, blah. Fuck off. Fuck out of here. I'm going to be around you, first of all, absorb your energy, and make sure that energy collides and coincides with my energy, that it don't disrupt the energy. Two or more energies can always be in the same room and come together and still things be great, but they have to be like, they have to coincide. It's like, you know me, I'm a guy of multiple dogs. I got a puppy in my lap as we speak. I don't just bring dogs in here because I know better. You can't just put dogs together. You don't know if these dogs are gonna like each other, kill each other, hurt each other. You just don't know. So I do that with people and energy around people. So I told them my advice was, don't feel obligated. Like you said earlier, we go through different phases in our life. We're different people as we grow. Shit I did at 20, I'm not doing at 50. Shit I did at 20, I wasn't even doing at 30. And shit I was doing at 30, I ain't doing 40. And I'm fucking damn sure not doing 40 or 50. Each stage is its own stage and you're in a different place. So my advice was like, listen, if you have to, I put people under all things in moderation. So if you have to moderate how you deal with people, it does not say you hate them. It does not say them you love them any less. It just says that you're compartmentalizing how you move. And that don't mean a disrespect or a disloyal situation by no form of fashion in there. But you got to think about you, because once you fold and you fail and you let yourself break down, you're no good to nobody else.
You actually nailed everything. You hit every point that I probably would have made. I swear to God. Like, it's funny because I feel the same way. I'm an organic movement kind of guy too. I'm not a planner. I may have on third, on the third Thursday. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing on the third. I don't know what energy I'm gonna be on the third Thursday. So let me, figure that out. Now I do get that there were specific things. Somebody's getting married, a 50th birthday party, things of that magnitude. I get that. But my regular everyday movement is I go with the energy and the flow that I'm in for that moment. And I encourage people to, be that way about their life. It's so much harder to, like you said, move just because somebody else says you should move, or go with something because somebody else says you should go with it. Your internal clock, your spirit tells you everything and anything you need to know, always. I tell everybody this. To this point in your lives, I can promise you, your intuition has never let you down. Now, you might have let your intuition down by doing something, even though your intuition told you, hey, don't do that. You was like, man, like you said, I'm gonna try it out or whatever. And you're like, damn, intuition already told you that. It never lets you down. That's what I'm saying. Your body doesn't fail you when it comes to allowing you to move and shake in this world on the bigger scale and on the grander scale. And to the point of this, topic specifically, yeah, you have to, again, like I said, take everything a case by case basis. I can't say that just because, like you said, you're a family member or a friend for that matter, I got to do it because everybody else is doing it or because it's a group situation. A lot of times, some of us are afraid to, even come to grips with the fact that there are people within certain circles we just don't like. We don't vibe together. I don't think that they bad people. It's just not energy and people that I want to be around. And I don't want to put myself or those people in a situation where now it's taken away from the energy of what this whole situation is supposed to be. And I think that, to your point, we have to be mindful of that. We can't always just think I'm cool, so that person's cool, so they all can. No. There's some skill set to that too. You got to put the right pieces together. Like I always tell y'all, this is why the puzzle, analogy is so important to me. You can't put the sky pieces in with the ground pieces. That's not gonna work. Sky pieces all go together. The ground pieces.
I mean, we at a point now. We just did it the other night. Remember, like, yo, I don't know if you want them at the spot. Like, it's cool to be at the spot, but the spot.
You
we
know
like,
what I'm saying?
they're cool for the spot, but the spot. We're gonna leave here go to the other spot.
And the funny thing, because to your point, for those of y'all who don't know what we talk about, you got places that you go. I call it the Bat Cave. You guys have never ever seen Batman divulge the address of the Bat Cave. Only Batman can invite you to the Bat Cave, and if he doesn't invite you to the Bat Cave, you're not invited. And I know that people get upset and like, oh, it's not fair. Hey, you might not be a fit for the Bat Cave, so we don't want you in some place that's not a fit for you. So now you acting funny and feeling weird when I know what it's like. So I'm like, just wait your turn. There's the opportunity for you to get that advice, but you got to just take a moment to pump your brakes.
Listen, man, we gotta go. Thank you, Amir. I know you're busy. Back-to-back meetings. I'm glad you made yourself available this week. Definitely needed you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Amir Silly. He's about to go back to work. Me, on the other hand, about to watch Monday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, walk these dogs and represent. Woo, go ahead, brother.
One quick shout out, because I saw it written down there at the bottom. Trina Pinkett, a big happy birthday to your son. I think wrote in age 26 today. Salute, young man. Let's get it popping, young king. We all out here doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's Motivational Monday. Get motivated. Let's go.
Everybody, see y'all next week, same time, 6 p.m. We love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Prophet Pete, take us out. Peace.